All right, this new iPhone 15, especially with the orange case and the black phone, really brings back nostalgic vibes from when I got the iPhone 12 because I had this exact setup, almost the same colorway as the darker orange case, but man, it really took me back, and that was a long time ago. So with the new iPhone 15, my belief is this is going to be the best phone for the majority of people. So even if I just talk about the visuals of this new iPhone, it's the best looking phone that they've ever come out with, in my opinion. The matte black is awesome, but I like all the colorways, and it was honestly really tough to decide because these phones seem to be the most universal, in my opinion, for cases and accessories because of the soft touch finish, the lighter colors where it's kind of muted and just really paleted. I think they're going to be awesome for a lot of accessories, and it's not going to be an eyesore after a while. So that's just number one of something that was new and actually noticeable that had functionality. Number two is the screen itself is 60 hertz, but most people are not going to notice the speed. Most people are going to notice the accuracy of the colors, how rich and vibrant it is, and then also the fact that it's OLED. It gets really bright. This phone outside gets really bright without really diluting or hurting the battery. So even if I just get into Dynamic Island, the best thing I like about this is it's software and hardware combined, but also it gives you more screen real estate. So it's kind of like when you do picture in picture on YouTube or something, like the multitasking aspect, but also not forgetting certain things running in the background is incredible with Dynamic Island. At first I thought it was goofy. When it came out on the iPhone 14 Pro, I thought it was just Apple trying to be bougie and trying to be like, hey, we're different, but it is different and it actually is functional. So it doesn't matter if you have a delivery package coming through or you have a YouTube video in the background or a podcast or an audiobook or DoorDash or anything with a notification that enables this. It's just cool to see it working in the background, literally up top, giving you more real estate. It saves you time from having to open and scroll through your carousel of apps to try to find where that last spot was of the YouTube video you're listening to, or even scrolling through trying to find the app that you last used. You just tap and hold and boom, you have access to it again. Or if you just tap it, it opens up the app again. So it enables more screen real estate. And speaking of the screen gets plenty bright. Even with how bright it gets, my battery usage or how long I've used the phone in extreme situations was over 7 hours, but that's like listening to something in the background while the screen is on. It's not like I was staring at my phone for 7 hours straight, but just really trying to keep the screen on as much as I can. And for me, I haven't had the battery life go below 20% the past 10 days, no matter how extreme I used it. Playing video games, YouTube videos, camera usage, recording videos, whatever I was doing. That's the point of the new upgrade is I feel like battery life is so underrated in new hardware with the phone. And that does go along with me not having overheating issues or anything like that. Like people were explaining, the phone hasn't gone hot on me once while charging or using it at all. And the screen, even though again, it's 60 hertz, plenty fast, plenty zippy. With it being OLED, it gets bright. It's very vibrant. I haven't had any issues with feeling like this is a cheap quality phone in terms of display where I'm watching videos or playing games or whatever I'm doing. It's definitely top notch. So there's a lot of things already worthwhile about this iPhone, but if we get into USB-C, as of right now, I feel like the general public hasn't really used something like this with their devices because, okay, yes, I literally have an Anker charging cord. It's a 6'1", it's a green braided one that I use for my I'm looking at my tech on my desk right now. I have it for my computer mouse, for two different headsets, a Logitech one and a Jabra one. For my keyboard, finally, I literally just have one charging brick and one 6-foot cord on my desk for everything. Whatever needs battery, I just give it to it. And it's just something less I have to think about. So that's really how most people are going to feel about it. Most people in the tech community on YouTube will say, it's not 3.0, so it's super slow. No, it's fast enough. Just give it a few minutes. But it's going to be a while before it's like, well, how much can you test it? Because the iPhone 15 Pros definitely have more functionality with data transfer speeds or uploading. Even when I upload a storage card to this, it's still external hard drive works incredible with this. It's not like I've had major issues in noticing anything out of the norm. It's just that We'll have to see how far you can push an iPhone with functionality of this and where its real limits are going to be down the road. Now, I will do an entire video on iOS and everything I've been seeing that's incredible about iOS 17, but I want to go over my 3 favorite things that are incorporated. So number 1 is you can contact AAA via satellite to request roadside assistance. And I never planned to want to use that or even use satellite connectivity to make an emergency phone call if I break my leg while on a hiking trip, because I do a lot of hiking and I go to the mountains a lot. So for me, there's massive peace of mind in getting the new iPhone 15 because of that alone, because of the fact that that comes with the phone, with satellite connectivity. Number 2 is the new voice isolation and new software update of making sure you actually heard on the call. So let's go ahead and do a microphone test of that. All right, so this is what it sounds like using the iPhone like you normally would without any voice isolation or anything. So let me play some coffee shop noise. And that's what you're hearing on the microphone right here, my lavalier microphone. Let me go ahead and switch it to voice isolation mode. All right, now it's on voice isolation mode, and that's what you're hearing now. And so this is really loud. This is like a 80 decibel coffee shop environment. So let me go ahead and pause that. And then this is what it sounds like with voice isolation in a normal office. But number 3 is the fact that Apple Maps, which I actually like a lot, sometimes more than Google, because Google will always try to redirect me in routes I know common sense wise is not the best route, where I feel like Apple is starting to be more common sense minded with taking you on just the best route, period, regardless of speed or time limit or anything like that. But the fact that there's downloadable maps now. So now that I got that out of the way, with the new 48 megapixel sensor and the 24 megapixel default, I look at all the photos, and especially when I started taking photos of small objects like this jumping spider, if you zoom in, there's incredible detail. I mean, I'm not used to that. Usually I start seeing the pixels get diluted and get washed out and look terrible, look almost like a Minecraft game if you zoom in far enough. There's detail even when you zoom in the closest that you can, even on video. So as you've been seeing in the photo examples, this is such an incredible smartphone for video and for photos that I really think most people, if like this is the only camera they got, it's going to be the best experience they've had out of any of the previous iPhones. And it's all because of the updated megapixel count, but also the new sensors, which were borrowed from last year's iPhone 14 Pro, but it's updated better. Like something about it is still more functional. And yes, even if you go into the settings, there's new features for action mode with video, or even if you're taking photos, you can make a ton of adjustments in the settings alone without having to go into the settings of the camera app. But again, a lot of that stuff I think I'll save for a full iOS review and update on what I think about the new iOS 17 version instead of doing it in this review. That's a whole different video. But in short, the cameras, this is the camera phone that gives me the most confidence out of any other camera phone. So what is my final word on this iPhone? I had to take off the case because I might use this for a thumbnail too, but this is the best looking iPhone I think they come out with, especially in this color. I feel like this is truly the phone to get out of any previous iPhone model. For sure, out of anything past the 13 models. I mean, just get this one. It's worth the upgrade. There's a lot of cell phone carrier deals. And even if you paid cash out of pocket, I think this is going to be the longest lasting iPhone out of any of their models right now. I mean, it's really future proof. So besides everything else I said, please let me know your comments and thoughts below. If you're thinking about getting this phone, things you like and didn't like, if you have been using this. And that's it. That's my review. So I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you on the next one.